What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. This video is also brought to you by two things. Since we don't do any sponsorships here on the channel, I'll show them out real quick. The first is my music, which is available anywhere you stream music under the name Aftersound, and the second is a new podcast I just launched called Chasing Infinity. Links in the description below. Check them out. Let me know what you think, and I appreciate the support. All right, guys, I took the weekend off, but I'm feeling refreshed, re-energized. I hope you guys all had a good one. And the first thing I'm doing as I get back into the swing of things is answering your Splinterlands comments and questions. So let's go ahead and dive right in. We got Firebolts here on the Lane 1.75 progress video that I did. Cryptomancer should have thrown his diagrams at Blaze costs so that he could have sprinkled in a little bit of marketing dust. I guess. I mean, we don't need marketing on everything. I would rather Blaze's time be better spent securing some partnerships. I mean, I know where you're coming from, Firebolts, but I would rather Blaze be doing that. I can read a spreadsheet, and whatever kind of Venn diagram that he had. I think we're good there. Thank you for the super duper overhyped comment here. Yes, definitely exciting times. All right, so IAW Game says, I think Matt's pretty clear on the town hall who this game mode is for. It's for him and a handful of card lords. He's got a giant collection sitting mostly idle and wants a game mode he can utilize them in. He's already got a scholar playing his account, so it's not like he's actually playing the game himself. Yeah, I mean, I think he plays certain things like brawls and whatever, but there obviously is an element of automated play here, which I know some people are very vehemently against, and I understand. I'm trying to take a little bit more middle of the road thing here. Again, I'm not necessarily for it, but I am not like... I don't know that conversation, you know, and here's the thing, like Tails, Lorcus, we had a great conversation on it, and I very much respect like the places that they're coming from. There's a lot of other people who feel very strongly regarding, you know, the whole bot situation. I'm not saying that I want the game to be overtaken by bots, but I do appreciate the fact that there is an automated area of play. If they get rid of it, then so be it, right? I mean, I have fun playing the game anyway, but I do, again, they're making this because there seems to be a desire for it. Now, how much of that desire is going to impact the game economy? If it's a bunch of whales that like it and end up... let me just put it this way. If there's a bunch of whales that like it and end up spending more in the ecosystem because of it, is that a net positive, right? Can you be objective enough in your analysis to understand that that could be a net positive? Now, I understand that the flip side of that is that it ends up being not extractionary, right? Because I'm not talking about bot farms here. I'm just talking about automated play, but it ends up just being another SPS fountain or faucet that we don't necessarily need, which if that ends up being the case, you know, my hope is that, you know, this is going to come out regardless whether we want it or not. So my hope is that we can take whatever data there is, and there's other people in the community who are fantastic at collecting this data, bring it back to the team after 2 seasons, 3 seasons, be like, yo, this is not really playing out the way that you wanted it to, but, you know, we'll see how it goes. All right, so Crypto Beaver says, we've been asking for a new game mode for a while. Let's wait for more details, such as a revival potion cost, before jumping into any conclusions. I like the idea of using our current assets to play different game modes. I would prefer to keep one survival mode reward pool, and I definitely am with you on not creating a leaderboard with DEC for this specific game mode. We don't need to create more DEC inflation. SPS reward should be more than enough. Yeah, see, and that's, but here's the thing. They're going MVP mode, which I think that they want to redo leaderboards at some point, but I don't think it's going to get done before this comes out, which means we go from, I actually don't even know how much DEC we're minting. It used to be about 7 million DEC per month. I'm sorry, per season, right? 7.5, so like 15 million per month. I think somewhere along the lines, it got cut down to like 4 per season, but I don't even have the full numbers on that. I can go, oh, you know, we can actually go and calculate this out now. We just need to see how much it is on Wild or one of the formats and then multiply it. So I don't know, maybe I'll go do that at some point. Either way, I remember it being around like 4-ish million, which means if they were to add another one, we'd be up to like 6-ish million. So again, not the end of the world, but it's just so unnecessary for us to be minting DEC or for it to be coming from the DAO, right? It's just why? All right, SPR Stoner says, I think we should be able to discover recipes with research. And once we discover a recipe, we can craft things such as revival potions. I think we might need summoners to die more than normal. What do you mean die more than normal before the cooldown kicks in? Oh, okay. I also feel like we should use this mode to encourage staking on land somehow. Like maybe for each duplicate of a card you have staked, maybe you get a small cooldown bonus, overall, this mode has me excited. That's good. I'm glad to hear that, because there's been mixed reception to this, and I think that there should be at least some skeptical excitement out there as to what it can do. I love the idea of integrating land, and having land potentially be something that has to do with the revival potions. So if you're a card lord, then that means that you're decently invested into the ecosystem, right? And when I say invested, I mean like you own a lot of assets, and in this case, they end up being cards, which means you may have other assets such as land. And if you don't have other assets such as land, well, all of a sudden we can give utility to land by allowing landholders to directly be able to impact and benefit card holders, right? There can be this kind of symbiotic relationship there that makes things super fun. So I agree with you. I don't know about the summoner thing. In fact, I like the fact that summoners, if they die, then they're done, because that is one of the true limiting factors. I mean, yes, there are a finite amount of cards, but you cannot play a card without a summoner. So at the end of the day, the bottleneck are summoners, and I don't want to tweak anything with summoners just yet. If we get to a situation where it's just like X amount of games or X amount of battles are played and then like everybody's done for the season, then yeah, maybe we can talk about summoners, right? If that ends up being the case. But I think we're still a little early. I mean, we're still very early because the game mode's not even out yet. All right, Erica says, thanks for sharing. Oh, this looks like another scam post. So let's just hide that. CPC Forever says, this could go nuts regarding land 1.75. Nuts is not the word I would use to describe it. I think that it can become a nice churn, for lack of better descriptors. Like it can start churning things in land and make it so that land isn't just this static thing, right? People will need stuff, and for the most part, I highly doubt that most people will become self-sufficient in everything that they need, which means they either become specialists or they have to go and trade. And trade means more volume, means more fees, means more DEC and resources burned. It's a good thing overall. So this will be a huge step forward for land, in my opinion. I mean, 1.5 was a step forward because that was like literally the beginning of land as something functional. But now is something that will be a way for the economy to continue moving forward. Again, if there's going to be anybody that is completely self-sufficient, they're going to be few and far between. Most folks will not be self-sufficient to get all of the things that they need. So we're going to have a lot of specialization, and, it's like, well, maybe you don't need research. Maybe you don't want SPS and you're just, collecting wood. At that point, well, what are you going to do with all that wood, right? You're going to sell it to other people that need it. So even if you're a specialist, or especially if you're a specialist, you're going to be, selling on the marketplace. And even if you don't want to get SPS, or you don't want to get anything else, you just want to cash out of the game, I mean, you still have to let go of those resources, create some volume in the market, and hopefully that'll be a good thing overall. Anyway, actually, you'll need grain, so however that comes out. Okay, so Carla, same thing here. Let's go ahead and hide this user. All right, Mondroid on the survival mode video says, this is kind of garbage, to be honest. Oh, what the hell did I click on? Okay, well, let's go back. This is kind of garbage, to be honest. There we go. Read more. 99% of players can't even play this mode. I mean, you can, but after, let's say, 10 battles and you lose 5 times, your deck is now locked out of Survivor mode. Ranked Modern Wild Brawls and tournaments, you'd have to be an idiot to actually play Survival mode as a real person player. Obviously, so this is just another subsidy for bots and bot farms who could play thousands of times with an army of 1 BCX cards. The team never learns. I think there are some bad actors close to Matt, perhaps even board members, that are a bit upset about the Wild Pass immediately through their influence around Matt to expedite a new game mode for them to exploit. Very disappointed right now. I mean, I don't know if you can back up that claim that there's people around Matt that are influencing him that were with the Wild Pass. I'd be curious to hear more about that. Again, I want to be very specific in like the bots versus bot farm argument. I agree. And here's the thing. The bot farm argument is an issue, right? We do not, and that's something that, even though I was playing neutral earlier, it's bot farms are universally bad. Nobody wants bot farms back in the game. So I think that there is obviously a risk there that many people are calling out, which I do think is good, and I appreciate that. How do we mitigate that? How do we mitigate it so that it's only, the Matt Clarks with his Flesh Golem army, or, Vugtis or Azarkon, or whoever owns a bunch of cards that wants to participate in this, and maybe automate it with a bot? How do we get it so that it's only available for them? we talked about the wild pass or the wild permit, having something like that be available. I actually think an easier solution, maybe I'll do a separate video on this, but like, I think an easier solution is we already have a wild pass in play. So this should just be wild pass adjacent, meaning that if you buy the wild pass to play in wild, then you get to do this mode for free. I don't think it needs to be anything more complicated than that, because at the end of the day, then you're forcing bot farms to still have to pay and see if they're going to get some kind of ROI. And here's the thing, right? With a bunch of 1BCX cards, they're still going to need summoners, right? They're still going to need summoners. And at the end of the day, there's not that many summoners out there. So, and you know what? That might be an interesting video to do. I'm gonna try and dig into the data on that. So let me focus on that. I'm gonna think a little bit more about this, but I appreciate the feedback, Mondro. I know a lot of people feel very strongly about it, but I still maintain it's worth a try. It's worth an experiment for 2 seasons, which is a month. If it's really, really bad, and we're all gonna have our magnifying glasses on it. So if it's really bad, I think you're going to get a lot of people who are like, yeah, okay, like let's just shut this down until we can figure out a better way forward. But if they can implement like the wild pass or integrate that somewhere, and then the other thing was the soulbound cards, which I'm not particularly fond of, but those would be big in my opinion to cover. Okay, so Kazark says, to be honest, I've turned off the after town hall stream after about 10 minutes because I couldn't stand the massive negativity. So a big thanks for bringing that up yourself. Oh, this is on the takeaways. Yeah, it is what it is. I've talked about it already, so I don't want to get into it. But thank you, Kazark, for the feedback. I agree. It was just we just got caught up and micro focused on the micro rather than the macro, and there are a lot of really exciting things. So hopefully we can all get excited again. What the Pick says, as long as the bull market sees things going on in the game, sees things going on in this game, and volume and trading looks like it is spiking up, may see some people getting in, but we need advertising. You know what the Pick? I've seen some messages. I've seen some posts. There seem to be new people coming in, which is fantastic. And I'm going to do a video probably following this one on the rise in spellbook purchases. I did one recently because it was there because we saw it ticking up a little bit, but now that we have a couple weeks worth of data, it's become statistically significant. So I'll share those numbers with you guys shortly. Brave Tofu says, loved your intro, and I'll add that I too stopped watching that other stream because of the crappy attitudes of your 2 guests. It's fine to be bearish or to disagree and provide constructive criticism, but they were not being reasonable or respectful and were jumping the gun to their conclusions. It was downright annoying. Well, you know what? Look, don't pin it on them. I was here. I was the host. So it was all 3 of us. And I maintain that I think that their concerns were reasonable. I think that their concerns were legitimate. Like how you felt that they were coming off is how you feel. But yeah, we should have really focused on all of the other things that are going on. But good points brought up and a good discussion. It was just the wrong venue, in my opinion. We should have done a separate stream where we talked about hardcore mode specifically, because coming out of that town hall, I felt really charged up. And like you, it's just like I went in and then all I did was think about hardcore mode for the next 2 hours and not think about validators and new players and just all the other fun stuff. So, but thank you guys for the feedback, and I appreciate that. Our Level Up Life says, if I understand it correctly, when you swap a resource for another resource in the back end, it's going to DEC first. There will be no resource to resource. Correct. Yes. So that it's just going to be created as one transaction that's doing 2 transactions in the back end. So at the end of the day, everything is still going to be paired directly with DEC. So we need lots and lots of DEC. All right, Level of Life also says, this feels a bit like card staking. It's a way to make income from these oversupplied cards since bot farms no longer exist. I agree. And in many ways, it's going to replace land, or it seems like it's trying to replace land, because land is just too expensive to actually get going, and it does nothing as of now. But hopefully that'll change next year. Okay, so Megan, okay, yeah, let's not do that. Hide the user. All right, so Swami says, if Splinterlands wants to win the hearts and minds of current and future players and get everyone pumped for the future of their virtual land, then maybe they shouldn't completely sabotage the battle format so that battles are essentially unwatchable. Swami says, gonna accelerate the sale of land plots and divert that value into Bitcoin to at least take some profit, while Trunk creates the conditions for at least a few more solid months of massive gains in BTC until the nukes start flying, at which time there will be some serious gains IRL island property. Well, I wish you the best of luck. I hope your scenario doesn't play out. I hope there's no World War III or nukes. But, buying Bitcoin, I'm never going to tell anybody not to buy Bitcoin. So there's that. Vladarak says they have to sell stuff, but they don't have to keep nerfing stuff you've already bought to force you to spend more. Okay, curious. What have they nerfed that you've already bought? Because they're actually, I would say they're actually quite good about not nerfing cards on the back end. They balance them, which I think is okay to do, but they don't change the cards that you have. They just make it so you would need other cards in order to compete. And if you don't like the idea of balancing Vladarak, what is your solution to, an overly powerful meta? Do you just leave it there until it rotates out, or if it ever rotates out? I think balancing is the appropriate action. Okay, so Aronia says, the problem with this community is the tolerance and engagement of criminal logic. Botting is cheating. Cheating in a play-to-earn game is stealing rewards from someone. The terms of service agreement is not a substitute for your own ethics and moral responsibility. It doesn't matter how many of you group together and pat each other on the backs and justify it. You are still doing something wrong. I'm sure that's very much targeted at me, but Erroneous, look, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, it's if they make it against terms of service, then dude, for sure. But it's not against terms of service yet. So let's cool it with like the criminal and moral ethics here. Like, I get where you're coming from. I get where you're coming from, but this is how the game has been for a long time. And if you want to push it towards that, I welcome you to, and I probably would even support you. Right now, the thing is, we are now in a better position to have the kind of passive playing, right? Hopefully land will be an opportunity for people who like to passively play to be a part of it. And again, well, I don't know, maybe you're talking about this game mode as well, but if we want to move towards, if you want to move towards banning bots across the board, I think it's going to be a tough sell. I don't think it's the wrong thing to do. I just think it's going to be a tough sell. But yeah, give it a shot. Bitcoin Sig says, I feel when done properly, it should be just as easy to add 3 resources or 1,000 since they largely all use the same code. I'm hoping that 2.0 shouldn't take as long to add resource-wise. Well, the thing is, it's not just resources that need to be added, Bitcoin Sig. We need buildings. And we're not even getting buildings in 1.75. We're just changing the work sites, right? Buildings are going to come after that. So I would say that the big thing for 2.0 is going to be buildings and, resource storage and all that stuff. So I don't share your enthusiasm for 2.0 coming very shortly after 1.75. I think 1.75 is probably going to be it for land in 2025. Just knowing, and this is not a shot at Cryptomancer, it's a one-man show, right? So but just knowing Cryptomancer and how, how he takes his time with a lot of these different things, my guess is that we get land 1.75 mid to late Q1, and we probably don't get anything else like super heavy land related. Now, what would be cool is I would love by like Q3 or so to get some kind of item or spell in the game. That would be awesome, right? And I don't know if that's Cryptomancer or that would be someone else, but I wouldn't mind them pivoting to that just so that we can get it. So it's like, again, whether it's the Scarecrow idea, whether it's the barricade idea. I mean, not even mine. Those are just some of the ideas that I had. Whatever it is, if we can just get it so that these land resources can be of use and consumable, that would be fantastic. All right, Erroneous says, 30% of our economy for cheaters and whales? No. We already have card duplicates resource management game for whales. It's called land. If whales are getting so impatient that they are constantly bugging math, then let them pull their money together, hire a couple developers to make regional boss fights so you can use card duplicates. If you don't have time to play the game, then put your money elsewhere. Fair point. I mean, I might not agree with all of it, but fair point. All right, thank you, RK, for the comments. Jackie, what's going on? Good to see Jackie. Hope you're doing well. Bitcoin's doing pretty good. All right, For Dallas says, I have to give you a thumbs down on this video. It seems like this takeaways only makes sense if the viewer watched the town hall or a bunch of other videos. I only have time to watch a few videos a week, and I really hope for a summary of important points. For example, what is the proposed survival mode, and what was the criticism that came up in your previous stream? Look, man, I made another video for that. I'm just not going to take the time to answer this question here. If you got a thumbs down it, you got a thumbs down it. cool. Again, I appreciate you taking the time to leave the comment, but I try to make enough videos that are very content or topic specific. So if you want to look into that, then you can, but you don't have to. You can just thumbs down. It's not going to hurt my feelings. No, I don't care. All right. Leandro says, when are you going back to parallel? Yeah. You know what? Maybe now is the time. Getting a lot of negative feedback here. Now is the time to head back to parallel. All right. International Travel Channel. Another thank you for the comment. Yvonne says, does the ambassador thing work for already existing referrals? I don't think so. I would have to double check, but I don't know if it's going to be backwards compatible. I feel like I remember them not saying that it wouldn't be, but if it is, that's awesome. If it isn't, then you got to get your hustle on. All right, let's do one or two more because I think we just crossed the. We're already 21 minutes. All right, let's just do this last one. All right, X Death by Reaper X. What a name. All right, so a lot of times streamers or content creators forget they are also a nobody. Okay, just like everyone else, and think their opinion is more than anyone else's. All right, thanks, man. All right, if this doesn't work, the DAO will kill it, so no reason not to give it a try before dumping it. You're one of the exceptions. Oh, okay, all right, you're one of the exceptions to the rule, my man. I was like, we're going to end this on a downer. I appreciate that. So a lot of times content creators or streamers forget that they're... I'm not special. I don't know. I just like talking about this stuff, and I like having a place where I can, gather like minds. So I'm not even trying to like... That's the funny thing. I'm not even trying to like do anything with this channel. I'm not trying to like influence you to go and like vote for something or vote against something. Yeah, sure. I've made my opinions very, strongly felt in the past on certain things, but on the whole, like, I'm not going to hold something against you if you have a different viewpoint than me. I just want to play a fun game, and I want us to all, benefit emotionally, physically, financially from this. I don't know about physically, but financially from this. And I want it to be a successful game. It's fun. It's complex. The economy is robust. There's a lot of really cool things here. So, yeah, I get it, but I appreciate the kind words and the support. So we'll go ahead and end this, and I know that there's a lot of other comments here that I got to get to, so we'll do another one of these videos tomorrow and continue knocking them out. But thank you so much to everybody for taking the time to watch the videos, leaving comments, even if you disagree with me. I appreciate the feedback more than you know, and just know there's never any hard feelings. It is what it is, and I hope that's the same for you guys. But that's all I got. Have an amazing rest of your day. I'll catch you all in the next video and see you around the game. Peace.